Okay, so good evening, everyone. To start our review for tonight, let us all be reminded that we are in the most holy presence of God. Lord God, Heavenly King, Father and Lord, we worship, praise, adore, glorify, and love you. We are sorry for all of our sins, and we are very thankful for all of the things, for all of the blessings and grace you have given us. We are hoping and praying that as we will have our review for session for tonight, please bless each one of us. Give us the wisdom, the strength, the courage, the knowledge, and hopefully we will be learning something significant that would be very useful for our reviewees when they take the licensure examination for teachers. All of this we pray in Jesus' name, Amen. Okay, so again, good evening po sa lahat-lahat, and uh, I hope that we are having a great time. I'm hoping po that my audio is good. Okay, please let me know po if my audio is good. Okay, let's see. Okay, sige, thank you po. So please check your signal na lang po, no, because please check na lang po your signal if ever po. And for tonight, we will have the discussion of item 61 to 90 of the diagnostic test that was given last time. So I hope you are all set. I hope you have your copies with you. And I'm hoping that you will get high for this items 61 to 90 as well. Okay, so without further ado, be reminded again that if the correct answer is not among the choices, then you have to answer E po. Okay. Yes po, Sir PJ. Adja. Kaya po natin to. Okay. All right. Let's have item number 61. How many cubic centimeters of sand would fill a cylinder whose circular base radius is 8 cm and height is 15 cm? Did you go for 480 pi, 900 pi, 960 pi, or 980 pi? Let's see po. So to those who commented, many of you answered letter C. And I do agree with Ma'am Judy, no, that this problem is actually asking for the volume of your cylinder. And the volume of the cylinder could be taken by using the formula V equals pi r squared H, where V is the volume, pi is a constant which is approximately equal to 3.14. But for now, we will be using the exact value of pi. R is the radius and H is the height here. So by substitution, our radius is 8 and our height is 15. So V is equal to pi times the square of 8 times the height, which is 15. We have to square first the 8. So 8 squared will give us 64. And we have V equals pi times 64 times 15. Multiplying 64 and 15 gives us 960. And we simply copy the pi. Hence, the volume of the cylinder is 900, or the capacity of the cylinder is 960 pi cubic centimeters. And if you answered letter C, you got it right po. Okay, so to everyone who commented letter C, I believe you had a great start. And I think others also answered C. Okay, I hope that this finds you well. Let's proceed to item number 62. At least how much wrapper in square units is needed to completely wrap a rectangular box whose dimensions are 10, 8, and 5 units? Did you go for 340, 360, 380, or 400? But before you disclose your answer, what particular mathematical concept is involved here? What are we trying to solve? Let's see. What particular concept are we solving po? Okay, according to Sir Kim, And Sir Marvin, it's surface area. And that is actually correct. Because remember, if you have a 3D figure and what you are wrapping actually is the surface of that 3D figure. So hence, we need to solve for the surface area of this rectangular box. And some of you answered A, some of you answered D, but which is which? To determine the surface area of a rectangular box or a rectangular prism, we actually use the formula SA equals 2 multiplied by LW plus WH plus LH, where L here stands for the length, W stands for the width, and H stands for the height of your rectangular box. So here, let's for now remember. By the way, the order would not matter because they will give you the same surface area. So let's say, without loss of generality, let's say 10 here is your length, 8 is your width, and 5 is your height. So by substitution, so tandaan nyo po, tatlo pong variables yan. You take them 2 at a time. LW, LWH, LH. So you have to get all the pairs, multiply them, add them all, then multiplied by 2 po. Yan po yung shortcut natin. By substitution, we have 2 times the product of 10 and 8 plus the product of 8 and 5 plus the product of 10 and 5. 10 times 8 is 80. 8 times 5 is 40. And 10 times 5 is 50. Hence, you have SA or surface area equals twice the sum of 80, 40, and 50. Of course, we have to simplify first what is inside of our parentheses. And so 80 plus 40 plus 50 is 170. And 2 times 170 is 340. And indeed, it's 340 square units. So to everyone who answered letter A, you got it right po. Okay, it's okay. To those who did not answer A, it's okay. So I hope we learned something for this. Okay, salamat po. Questions po or clarifications before we proceed with the next item? No questions po or clarifications? Okay, no questions. So sige lang po. Okay, thank you. Proceed po tayo sa 63. What is the equation of a line whose slope is 4 and whose y-intercept is 3? Did you go for choice A, choice B, choice C, or choice D? Okay. To everyone who commented, you answered B. Okay, bakit po B? Ang sagot ninyo, Ma'am Judy, if you don't mind po. Bakit po B? Okay. Okay. So, nag-comment po dito na y is equal to mx plus b at yan po ay tama. In fact, the form y equals mx plus b is what we call the slope-intercept form, where m here represents the slope and b is the y-intercept. So with such, since your slope abbreviated as m or symbolized by m is 4, and your y-intercept, which is b equals 3, then by substitution to the said form, you get y equals 4x plus 3. Indeed, letter B. So yes, sa lahat po ng nag-answer ng B, be happy kasi you got it right po. Okay. All right. So far, so good po tayo. Proceed po tayo sa item number 64. Find the equation of a line that has a slope of 3 and passes through the point -3, 4. Did you go for y equals 3x minus 13, y equals 3x plus 5, y equals 3x plus 10, or y equals 3x plus 13? Okay, so marami din sa inyo yung sumagot ng D. Okay, so Ma'am Judy said earlier, same today, no? Same process. Okay. So, ano pong gagamitin ninyong formula dito? What can we do here? We will use what form? Or what particular equation or form are we going to use to solve this question or this problem? For example, you are given a slope and a point. Okay, let's see. Okay, so sabi ni Sir Marvin, tama po yan, Sir Marvin. Yes, Ma'am Judy, ano po? You are recognized, Ma'am Judy. You may open your microphone if you wish po. Okay. Yung kay Sir Marvin, tama po yan, ha? Yung gamitin mo rin yung y equals mx plus b. Tama po yun. Yung kay Ma'am Loy Ann Quinto po, sabi niya y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Tama din po yan. Actually, there are many ways of solving this problem. If you use the y equals mx plus b, correct po yun. Okay? But for now, yung ginamit ko po is same po kami ni Ma'am Quinto. I use the what we call the point slope form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1, where x sub 1, y sub 1 are the coordinates of the point, and m here is a slope. And remember that parallel lines have equal slopes. And since the slope earlier of the line was 3, so we will still use or substitute m with 3. -3 will be x sub 1. And 4 will be y sub 1. With that said, by substitution, it becomes y minus 4 equals your slope, which is 3, multiplied by the quantity x minus x sub 1, which is -3. Minus -3 becomes x plus 3. That's why I have y minus 4 equals 3 times the quantity x plus 3. Distributing the 3 here, no, sa ating right-hand side, that will be 3x plus 9 here. So y minus 4 equals 3x plus 9, adding 4 both sides. So you will get y equals 3x plus 13, and indeed, letter D din po yung ating tamang sagot. Okay. Ay, okay po. So, no problem po, Ma'am Judy. But don't worry po, if you will use the formula y equals mx plus b, you will still get the correct answer. Replace nyo po yung x by -3. Replace mo yung y by 4 at saka yung m ng 3. Masosolve mo po si b. Tama po yan. And you will still get the same correct answer po. Okay, thank you. Nakuha po natin so far. Okay na po? Okay, thank you po. Salamat po. 65. Find the equation of a line that passes through -1, 5 and 3, -3. Did you go for 3x plus y equals 8? 3x minus y equals 8. 3x minus y equals -8, or 3x plus y equals -8. So, E daw, sabi ni Sir Kim, ni Sir Marvin, ni Ma'am Judy, ni Sir PJ, ni Ma'am Algin as well. Tingnan po natin. There are many ways of doing this, no? Yung ginagawa po ng iba, substitute niya po yung -1, 5 at saka yung 3, -3. Tapos, Kung masatisfy niya yung dalawang points, yun na yun. But apart from that, we can find the slope po, no? By using the formula y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, where y sub 2 minus y sub 1 represents the change in y, and x sub 2 minus x sub 1 represents the change in x po. Okay? And also, from here, with this one, by substitution, let's say ito po yung x sub 1, y sub 1. Ito naman po yung ating, x sub 1, y sub 1. Ito yung ating x sub 2, y sub 2. So by substitution, that's negative 3 minus 5 all over 3 minus negative 1. Your numerator simplifies to negative 8, and your m has to be, your denominator rather, is 3 minus negative 1, which is 3 plus 1, or 4. And your slope is negative 8 over 4, or negative 2 dapat. Okay? And similar thing earlier, since you have a slope now, you have a multitude of solutions for this. In my case, I utilize the point slope form again, and I could utilize any of the first or the second term as x sub 1, y sub 1, and it will give me the same correct answer. So in my case, I chose the first point. So the m is 3. Negative 1 is here, ito yung ating x sub 1, no? At saka yung 5, yung ating y sub 1. Take note po pinili ko po yung first term. Pero kung pinili ko yung 3, negative 3, at saka sinubstitute sa x sub 1, y sub 1, it will still give us the same correct equation din po. Okay? As long as tama yung algebra natin. So with that, x minus negative 1 here simplifies to plus 1. So y minus 5 equals 3 times the quantity x plus 1. If I distribute this 3 here to the x plus 1, I copy the left-hand side, and the right-hand side becomes 3x plus 3. Okay. Nakita ko po. Thank you for that, no? Saglit lang po, And with that po, no? So I will substitute the m with negative 2 po. And so y minus 5 equals negative 2 times the quantity x minus negative 1. This 1 here simplifies to x plus 1, and the rest were just copied. Distributing the negative 2 here gives us y minus 5 equals negative 2x minus 2. And also, adding for this one, the negative 5 here became plus 5 on the right-hand side. So negative 2 plus 5 will become plus 3. So y equals negative 2x plus 3. Expressing this in standard form, we added both sides by 2x. So 2x plus y equals 3. And it's not one of those solutions, I think, or it's not one of the choices. So E here is the correct answer. I hope you got it. Okay, thank you for that po. Good job po. 66. What is the equation of a line parallel to x minus 3y equals 5, passing through negative 1, negative 4? Did you go for A, B, C, or D po? Okay, Sir Kim, Sir PJ, Sir Marvin, answer D. Okay. How about the rest po? Okay, I think it's coming, no? Sige. So actually po, there is a shortcut po, no? In finding the equation of your line. Okay, Ma'am Catherine also said D. And the shortcut is, it's simple. If you see po, no, x minus 3y equals 5. And if you're looking for the standard form of the line lang naman, so all you can do is copy the left-hand side and equate it to a certain constant. Say C. So palitan nyo lang po yung constant ng C. And we will substitute -1 for x and -4 for y. And with this, we will be solving for C. With that, it becomes -1 minus 3 times -4 equals C. So this one, it's -1. -3 times -4 is +12 equals C. And C here is 11. And knowing the value of C, which is 11 po, so yung letter C na to ay papalitan po natin ng 11. Hence, the equation is x minus 3y equals 11. And indeed, the correct answer is letter D. Okay. Did you get it po? Did you have the same process or different po yung process ninyo? Yes. So don't worry po kung different po yung process ninyo. Yung ginagawa po ng iba, solve niya po yung slope. So if you solve for the slope here, you will find out that the slope is 1/3, no? And you could use either the y equals mx plus b or the point slope form. Pwede din. It will give you, but you have to express that in standard form pa, no? Yes. So don't worry po. So same process po kami. Same process ako sa iba, different ako para sa iba. No problem po. Yan po yung kinagandahan ng math. Iba-iba yung process natin, pero I believe we could arrive to the same correct answer. Okay. Thank you po. 67. What is the minimum point of the parabola y equals x squared minus 4x plus 1? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Sir Kim said A. Same with CBRC head. Oh, si Sir Freddy, sana all. Si Sir iPhone, si Sir Marvin, si Ma'am Algin. Okay? So, for this problem, this is in fact a quadratic equation po, no? And since the leading coefficient here is positive, then this particular quadratic equation is opening upward. And if it is opening upward, then the vertex is indeed the minimum point. So we will be asked, or we will be solving or determining the vertex of this parabola po. Okay. So to get the vertex, marami po tayong paraan. Yung ginagawa ng iba, ginagawa yung formula no ginagamit nila. So also you could do completing the square, which I will do for today. So yung method ko po ngayon, I think, is I will be completing the square po. If I have x squared minus 4x, what term will complete the square? Diba? Ito, to complete the square, diba? You divide the coefficient of x by 2. So then you square the result. So -4 divided by 2 is -2. Then square of -2 is 4. That's why I added 4 here inside the parentheses to make this a perfect square trinomial. But again, since I am working with only one side, so to balance the equality po, if I added 4 here, I should subtract 4 here. Okay? Then, since x squared minus 4x plus 4 is a perfect square trinomial, then it could be expressed as a square of a binomial, which is y equals, ito po, x minus 2 quantity squared. Pero yung sa labas ay 1 minus 4, which is -3. So using this one po, ano po yung vertex natin? Okay. So ano po yung vertex natin dito? Yung sa loob kasi no, ini-equate natin siya sa 0 because you can attain the minimum value if this is 0. So x has to be x minus 2 equals 0, or x is 2. And if x is 2, of course, the value of the expression will be negative 3. Hence, the minimum point is 2, negative 3, letter A. Yung technique is, yung sa loob, change ko lang yung sign nito, yung sa labas, kopyahin mo na lang. Yes, Sir Freddy.
Sir, okay lang ba, sir, yung ang ginamit ko kasi, sir, x vertex na formula?
Tama, tama po yan.
Mas...
Yung x equals negative b over 2a.
Over
Tama po yan, sir. So,
tapos,
yes, tama po yan.
Kasi, sir, yung nakuha ko na x vertex is 2. Sinubstitute ko na lang siya sa x squared minus 4x plus 1. Ang nakuha ko is negative 3. So, 2 at negative 3 ang nakuha ko.
Tama po yan. Yung ginagawa ni Sir Freddy is yung ginagamit yung HK o yung vertex, no? So, to get the value of h po ng vertex, yung negative b over 2a po yan, yung shortcut niya. So, yung a natin, ito po yung coefficient ng x squared. So, a is 1, b is negative 4, and c is 1. So, negative b over 2a, negative of negative 4 over 2 times 1, magiging 2 over 1, magiging 4 over 2 po yan. Magiging 4 over 2 or 2. Tapos, yung 2 po, isubstitute nyo lang po siya sa x. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 1 will give you negative 3 din po. So, yun po yung point ni Sir Freddy. Tama po, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Nagets po natin? Yung ginagawa ng iba, may so medyo mahaba siya. Yung vertex is, yung h is negative b over 2a, tapos yung k is 4ac minus b squared all over 4a. But medyo mahaba yung k niya. So it's better po na pag-solve nyo ng h, kung ano man ang value ng h, yun na lang yung isubstitute nyo sa x at masosolve po ninyo yung k or yung y coordinate ng vertex natin. Okay, salamat po, Sir Freddy. 68. The graph of y equals x squared plus 3x minus 40 passes through the points, what points on the x-axis? For this one, no? Okay, let's see. Okay, marami pong sumagot ng B. Tatlo po ata. 4 na. Okay. And of course, no? We know that kung sa x-axis, the value of y is 0. Tama po ba? Kung ang isang point ay nasa x-axis, the value of y is 0. So tama po, Sir Kim. With that po, we will substitute y by 0. And with that, you have x squared plus 3x minus 40 is equal to 0. And this one po, no, is factorable as into x plus 8 times the quantity x minus 5 equals 0. And syempre po, saglit lang po . And with that, if x plus 8 is equal to 0, then you will get x sub 1 as negative 8. And if x minus 5 is equal to 0, then you get the value of x sub 2, which is 5. Therefore, kasi nga, di ba, your y is 0. So, therefore, it passes to the points negative 8, 0. Or, aside from that, meron pang isa, 5, 0. Siyempre, dapat y po natin is 0 kasi nga po, this point should be found on the x-axis and the y coordinate of the point on the x-axis should be 0 po talaga. So hence, letter B po, tama po yung ating sagot. Okay. Thank you. 69. The graph of y equals x minus 2 quantity squared plus 3 is the same as the graph of y equals x squared, but was shifted. Which is correct? Which of these 4 choices is correct? 2 up, 3 right, 2 right, 3 up, 2 left, 3 up, 2 left, 3 down. Okay, let's see. Okay, so far, sumagot yung B po yung sagot ng ano? Okay. So B din daw. Okay. Let's see if you are correct. Actually, tandaan po natin ha, the graph of y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k is the same as the graph of y equals ax squared. However, but was shifted what? If it is minus here, then it's shifted to the right. If it's plus here, it's shifted to the left. Bakit ganon? Kasi you are equating this to 0 pa eh. X minus h equals 0, so x equals h. And this k here, if it's plus, upward. If it's minus, downward po. So y equals x squared has a vertex at 0, 0. And if you have y equals x minus 2 quantity squared plus 3, yung x minus 2 po kasi ini-equate natin sa 0 ito eh. X minus 2 equals 0. That's why x equals 2 dito po. At saka yung sa labas, kinokopya lang po yan. Plus 3, that's positive 3. Therefore, itong first po ito is, di ba, shift po yan sa x eh. Kung x, either left, right na naman yan. So this means, it is shifted 2 units to the right. Tapos yung y kasi, upward or downward na naman yan. But since 3 here, your y here is positive, so it is shifted 3 units upward. Hence, tama nga po yung ating letter B. Okay. B po ang ating tamang sagot. Okay. So B po. So careful po tayo. Okay? Okay. Let's see. Minsan po, sir, minsan. Okay, 70. What is what is true of the graph of the line 3x minus 5y equals 15? The graph is a line that rises to the right, falls to the right, is a horizontal line, or is a vertical line. Okay, may sumagot ng A at saka B. So saan nga ba ang tama sa kanila? To determine if a line rises or falls to the right, of course, we have to solve for the slope. So we could actually express this in slope-intercept form po, or actually you could just simply solve for the slope. So with this, we will solve or express y in terms of x. So subtracting both sides by 3x gives negative 5y equals negative 3x plus 15. Dividing both sides by negative 5, we get y equals 3/5 x minus 3. And take note, yung slope po natin ay positive, di po ba? Since your slope is positive, then the graph is a line that rises to the right. Hence, letter A po yung ating tamang sagot. So careful po. If the slope is positive, then the graph is a line that rises to the right. If the slope is negative, it's falling to the right. If the slope is 0, horizontal line po yan. If the slope is undefined, then vertical line po yung kanyang graph. So, letter A po yung ating tamang sagot. Okay, so now we know po. Thank you. 71. Find a linear equation whose x and y intercepts are 4 and 7 respectively. Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Okay, marami pong sumagot ng A. Actually, there are many ways of solving this problem or this thing, no? And actually, if you are given the x and y intercepts and both are non-zero, we could actually utilize your A here is 4. A here refers to the x-intercept, and B here, small letter B, represents the y-intercept. And I hope po that you are aware of what we call the intercept form of a line, which is x over A plus y over B equals 1. So x divided by its x-intercept plus y divided by its y-intercept equals 1. You can use this formula provided that none of your x or y intercepts is equal to 0. By substitution po, that becomes x over 4 plus y over 7 equals 1. And what's our LCD po? Ano po yung LCD natin dito?
28.
Tama, 28 po. So with that po, no, we will multiply both sides by 28 to clear off fractions. So with that, x over 4 times 28 will be 7x. Kasi 28 divided by 4 is 7. 7 times x is 7x. Plus 28 divided by 7 is 4. 4 times y will be 4y equals 1 times 28, which is 28. So tama nga po yung ating letter A. Okay. Magaling, magaling, magaling. Okay. Good job. Yes, Sir Freddy. You have a question po?
Sir, ang ginamit ko sir, I forgot the formula. Hindi ko ma-recall pero alam ko pero hindi ko lang na-retrieve. Ang ginamit ko lang is i-substitute ko lang ang 0 sa ang equation like sa 7x plus 4y. Kunyari ang x is 0 para makuha ko ang y. Immediately ginamit ko i-substitute ko ang 7 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 28. So y is equal to 7. Tapos sinubstitute ko rin ulit yung
Why?
0
You mean
sa
x is 7?
4.
You mean x is
Yes,
7?
sir. X is 7, tapos ang y is equal to 4. Sinubstitute ko, minultiply ko lang ng 0. Nakuha ko naman po.
Yes. Tama po yun, sir.
sir.
Yan po yung kinagandahan ng algebra ng math kasi nga maraming paraan eh. I'm sure yung iba sa atin, iba-iba din po yung paraan. I'm sure yung ginawa ng iba siguro kinuha, yung 4 na to, ginawa niyang 4-0. Yung 7 na to na y-intercept, ginawa niyang 0-7. So meron kang 2 points, 4-0 at saka 0-7. Siguro kinuha ng iba yung slope, tapos ginamit niya yung point slope form, or ginamit niya yung y equals mx plus b. Marami pong paraan. Kaya nga po, yung pinapresent ko pong solution sa inyo is iba siguro sa nakahiligan o nakagustuhan ninyo. Pero don't worry po, no? Tama po yan. So at least, kung iba man po yung process natin, we could learn from this process din po. Okay, salamat po. Okay, so far so good. Ang galing. Okay, let's have 72. Tama yan, Sir Freddy. The domain of y equals x plus 1 all over x squared minus 9 is the set of real numbers except negative 1, 3, negative 3, 3, negative 1, 3, negative 3, or 1, negative 3. Okay, maraming sumagot. Okay, naghumula sila B. Okay. Okay. B. Okay. Take note po ha. When we speak about the domain, if you have a rational function po, the domain of a rational function is a set of all real variable numbers, no? That will make the expression real number, of course. And in this case, your remainder should not be equal to 0. It's okay that your numerator is equal to 0, but your denominator should not be equal to 0. So tama po yan. Hence, the x plus 1 has nothing to do with it. And we will be more concerned of your denominator, which is x squared minus 9. Let's say it's equal to 0. And factoring this one, this is a difference of 2 squares. It's factorable into x plus 3 times x minus 3 equals 0. And again, by the 0 property of multiplication, equating each factor to 0, so x plus 3 will be equals 0, will give us negative 3. X minus 3 equals 0 gives us the value of x, which is 3. Therefore, the values negative 3 and 3 will make your denominator equal to 0. Hence, x could be any real number except these two variables, because these two again will make this expression undefined and the rest are okay. Hence, except negative 3 and 3, letter B. Okay. So siguro, tumama sa hula. Sana all. Pero tama yung sinabi mo, sir, na hindi ata mag-zero yung denominator. That is actually correct po. So I'm sure po, hindi nyo po hinulaan yan. So, you know it po. So, at least na-refresh po natin. No? So, kung sumagot po tayo ng letter C, kung in-include sa -1 is actually part of the domain. Kasi, if x is -1, magiging 0 over -8. 0 over -8 is still 0. And 0 is a real number. That's why denominator lang talaga yung focus natin. Basta rational function po. Yung, if we are looking for the domain of a rational function, we should focus more on the denominator. I hope nakuha po natin. 73. What is the center of the circle? X plus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 2 quantity squared equals 9. Okay, let's see your answers so far. Okay, I think this one, marami po sa atin siguro ang familiar po dito, ano? This one, to everyone who, okay, basic, yun yung gusto ko, sir, basic. And to make the long story short po, no, ini-equate po natin yung x plus 3 at saka yung y plus 2 sa 0. So, if x plus 3 is equal to 0, of course, you will get -3. That's your h, or the x coordinate of your center. Y plus 2 equals 0, you get y equals -2, which is the y, the k, or the y coordinate of your center. Indeed, letter A is the correct answer. In fact, no, ito po yung tinatawag nating center radius form or standard form ng isang equation ng circle. And if given the center radius form, to make the long story short, no, equate nyo lang yung sa loob into 0, and yeah, place there your h and k. It's your center na po. All right. 74. A 26-foot ladder is resting on a wall. If the base of the ladder is 10 feet away, okay, sorry, is 10 feet away on a wall. How high in feet does a ladder reach from the ground? Okay. Is it 24, 20, 18, or 16? Marami po sa atin sumagot ng A. Let's see if A is correct. By illustration, I believe you would agree with this. And if this is the ladder, this is 26, and this is the base of, this is the wall. This is the base of the wall, and the end foot of the ladder is 10 feet away from the base of the wall. So this one here is 10. And this height here that the ladder reaches the top of the wall is represented by B. And I believe this is a right triangle, of course, and you could use now the quadratic formula, which is 10 squared plus B squared equals 26 squared. I mean, sorry, by the Pythagorean theorem, sorry. By the Pythagorean theorem, we have 10 squared plus B squared equals 26 squared. 10 squared is 100 plus B squared equals 676. Subtracting both sides by 100 gives you B squared equals 576. And taking the principal square root of both sides, when we say principal square root po, it's just the positive square root. Supposedly, it should be plus minus the square root of 576. But again, the length of a ladder is positive by nature. So the square root of 576 is the positive square root, or the principal square root is 24. Hence, letter A is the correct answer. I also agree, no? Yung ginamit po ni Sir Freddy, ginamit niya po yung 5, 12, 13 special triangle, and that is actually correct. It's also what we call an example of what we call Pythagorean triple po. And there is in fact a theorem that positive multiples of Pythagorean triples are also Pythagorean triples. That's why yung technique po ni Sir is, di ba, 5, 12, 13. So ito 5 times 2, ito 26 times 2. So yung 12 times 2 magiging 24. That's why B should be 24. Yan po yung shortcut ni Sir. Yes, tama po yun, Sir. Sana all. Nakakaalam ng ating Pythagorean triple. Okay. Thank you po, Sir Freddy. Akala ko singer ka dati, no? Yung pala mathematician din. Charla. Okay, 75. 75 nga po ba? Yes. Okay, what is the area in square units of a triangle with sides 10, 13, and 13 units? Sana all singer. Okay. What's your answer po? Okay, letter C daw. Let's see kung tama nga ba si C. So actually, marami pong paraan para i-solve po ito. Take note po sa dito po kasi, pwede mo rin pong gamitin yung 5, 12, 13 special right triangle. Pero for the meantime, sabi ko sa self ko, sige, gusto ko muna yung Heron's na lang. Yung Heron's formula. If you are given an existing a triangle that exists in the Euclidean plane, then its area is equal to the square root of the quantity s times s minus a times s minus b times s minus c, where s is where a, b, and by the way, no, where a, b, and c are the three sides of your triangle, and that s is equal to a plus b plus c all over 2, or otherwise known as the semi-perimeter. Okay. Semi-perimeter po, like kukunin mo yung perimeter ng triangle tapos divide mo lang by 2 because the word semi means divided by 2. So since you have a triangle po, no, na 10, 13, 13, it's important that we solve for s first. So s is equal to 10 plus 13 all over 2. 10 plus 13 plus 13 is 36. Divided by 2 is 18. Your A po is 10, your B is 13 pala, and your C is 13 as well. By substitution to this formula, you have A is equal to the square root of the quantity 18 times 18 minus 10 times the quantity 18 minus 13 times the quantity 18 minus 13 again. So with that, 18 minus 10 simplifies to 8. This is 5. This is also 5. All right. And doing such, anyway, actually, no, if I'm doing competitions or if I am teaching my students in competitions, I actually give them certain shortcuts on how to do this now, even without calculators. But anyway, let's take advantage of your calculators. So if you multiply everything inside, that's 3,600, whose square root is 60. Hence, your area is 60 square units. Pwede rin po natin gamitin yung 5 foot 13 special triangle po dito, actually. To make it simple, no, sa atin, no, yung ginawa ko po is ganito. Kung gusto niyo lang po makita, di ba ito yung ano ngayon? 10, 13. Nakita niyo po yung drawing, yung ina-annotate. Draw ka dito ng altitude. Tapos right angle yan dito. Siyempre, dahil altitude dito, no, in this case, magiging 5, 5 to, by the way. Kasi parang kapito eh. So 5 ito. Notice nyo ito, magiging 5. So di ba 5, 12, 13, Pythagorean triple yan. So 12 ito. Hence, you have a triangle whose base is 10 and whose height is 12. That's why magiging 10 times 12 na height niya all over 2. Di ba yung area ng triangle is base times height divided by 2, which is still 60 square units din po. So yan. Nakuha po natin. Basic. Char lang. Okay. I hope nakuha po natin. So kasi yun nga no, maraming ways kasi. Minsan sa competitions you have to teach them. Sometimes I don't feel like I don't know no, baka kasi ma-confuse yung iba. So depende na lang po. Okay, thank you po. So I will annotate, I will clear all my drawings. Okay, thank you. 76. Okay, so letter C po, yung ating tamang sagot. 76 is cosine A equals 2/5. What is cosine 2A? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Okay. So let's see po kung tama kayo. Remember po natin that there is in fact an identity, no? It's a double angle identity for cosine 2A using if you know the value of cosine A, you can determine the value of cosine 2A using the identity cosine 2A is equal to cosine squared A minus 1. Cosine squared A means you are going to square the value of cosine A. So with such po, since our cosine A is 2/5, therefore, by substitution, that's cosine 2A equals 2 times the square of 2/5 minus 1. The square of 2/5 is 4/25. 2 times 4/25 is 8/25. And 8/25 minus 1 will become negative 17/25. So yes, so kung sumagot po tayo ng B, be happy kasi tama po kayo. So tama po si Sir Kim, si Sir Freddy, si Sir Mitra. Okay, thank you po. All right. Nakuha po natin. May I proceed po with the next item? Okay, kung walang question po, proceed po tayo sa 77. Which of the following is equal to cosine to the fourth? Yes, tama din po. Pwede din siya gamitin yung calculator po natin. Which of the following is equal to cosine to the fourth of x minus sine to the fourth of x? Okay. Letter C daw, sabi ni Sir Freddy. Ni Sir iPhone. Sabi din ni Sir Kim at saka ni Ma'am Judy. For this one po, no? This is actually a difference of two squares. And we could factor it using the difference of two squares na formula or concept. Magiging cosine squared x minus sine squared x po ito. Square root po nito is cosine squared x. Yung square root po ng sine to the fourth of x is sine squared x. Yung isa minus, isa plus. But remember po natin, we have an identity in trigonometry that cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1. At saka ito po, no, this is again the double angle identity. Actually, meron po tayong tatlong, at least 3 formulas, no, for cosine 2x. Cosine squared x minus sine squared x is one of them, which is equal to cosine 2x. Multiplying it to 1 will give us cosine 2x. Letter C. So tama nga po yung C natin. Yes, Sir Freddy, tama po. Difference of two squares po. Okay, so far, I think parang marami ata makakakuha ng mataas na score ngayon. Gusto ko to. 78. In a right triangle, tangent x equals 5. What is the positive value of secant x? 2 square root of 5, square root of 26, 3 square root of 2, or square root of 15. Okay, ano po yung ginawa ninyo? Paano po ninyo nakuha yung B na formula, na sagot? Anong concept po yung ginamit ninyo? Okay, tama. We will be using an identity. In fact, no, there is an identity that links secant and tangent. And this is one of the Pythagorean identities po, no, in trigonometry. That is secant squared x equals tangent squared x plus 1. And for our case po, if we take the square root of both sides of the equation, maging secant x equals, we have to place here plus minus the square root of the tangent squared x plus 1. Remember, we have to place a plus and minus because, again, it's one of the things that has to be done if you are taking the square root both sides. But again, we are only required of the positive value of this. So I'll just omit the negative and use the formula secant x equals positive only, the square root of the tangent squared x plus 1. Tangent x is 5. So tangent squared x means you have to square the value of tangent x. So secant x equals the square root of the quantity 5 squared plus 1, which is 26. So secant x is square root of 26, letter B. Okay. Tama po yan, no? Yung kay Sir Freddy, tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. So tama din po yan. Magiging 5/1 siya. Tapos kapag sinolve mo yung kanyang hypotenuse, magiging square root of 26. Tapos, di ba, yung secant, ano siya? Secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. Magiging square root of 26 over 1, which is still square root of 26. That's why, no? Ang saya ng math, maraming paraan para mag-solve. 79 po. In the triangle shown, AB equals BC equals 10 and AC equals 12. What is sine theta? Did you go for 4/5, 3/4, 3/5, or 5/4? Ano po yung ginawa ninyo? A daw. A nga ba? We'll see kung tama kayo. So for this one po, no, so you could see parang wala atang right triangle, di ba? Wala kang makikitang right triangle. Pero remember, we are free to draw some auxiliary segments to facilitate the finding of cosine theta. So this is an isosceles triangle, by the way, and we have a theorem. We have a theorem that states that if you will draw to the vertex, if you will draw the altitude of the vertex of an isosceles triangle, it could actually divide the opposite side into 2 equal parts. In fact, it also acts as a median. That's why ito 6 din po ito. That's why meron po tayo dito, ho. Meron po tayong right triangle dito. Yung base natin 6, yung hypotenuse natin 10. Tapos, by the Pythagorean theorem or using the concept of your Pythagorean triples, you could verify po, no, that the height here has to be 8 units po. And for that, dapat you could solve that for on your own. By the Pythagorean theorem, the length of the altitude through B is 8. With such, sine theta, remember po natin, no, yung sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. You could choose po, your theta could be this one. Pwede ring ito. They will still give you the same correct answer. Let's say I will use this theta. Opposite is 8. Hypotenuse is 10. That's why you have 8/10. That simplifies to 4/5. So sine theta po is 4/5, letter A. Yan. So I hope nakuha po natin. Okay, no problem po, sir. Go ahead po. Thank you. 80. What is the simplest form of this? Of sine of, by the way po, no, the x is para ano po so para hindi po tayo mo-confuse, gawin ko na lang po dito. The x po is part of the numerator. Sorry po. Yeah, I hope it will not create confusion. Sine x over 2. Tapos ito cosine x over 2. Parehas lang po yan. Okay, yan po yung ibig kong sabihin. Sorry for that. So which is which po? So D daw. Let's see kung tama si D. So if you square both sides, remember, you could square a binomial. You square the first term. This will become the sine squared of 1/2 x. Then twice the product, no? Twice the product of the first and the second term. So 2 times this will be -2 sine 1/2 x cosine 1/2 x. And also, if you square the last term, this will become plus cosine squared 1/2 of x. Take note, ha, if you square a positive or negative real number, the answer is never negative. So with that, grouping together yung first at saka yung third term po, ito po siya. Tapos -2 sine 1/2 x cosine 1/2 x pa rin po. Pero, di ba identity po ito? Sine squared sum of the same quantity plus cosine squared of the same quantity is in fact equal to 1. Yan po. And this is another identity po, that 2 sine of 1/2 x times cosine of 1/2 x is in fact cosine x po yan. Double angle po siya. Oh wait. Tama ba? Sine ba to or cosine dapat? Yes. So you could let a be equal to x over 2. Sine po ba ito or cosine? Dapat. This should be sine po, no? So this should be sine x. And the correct answer here has to be 1 plus sine x. So letter A nga po ba? Did you answer letter A as well? So dapat po, your answer here has to be letter A. So please check po ha yung ating identities. Okay. Okay, let's proceed to item number 81. Cosine pi over 12, it's saan po? Let's see if it's A, B, C, or D. We'll find out. Remember, yung cosine pi over 12, yung iba po kasi sa atin, no, mas comfortable po working with degrees rather than radians. So like me. So in my case, yes po. Ano po yung process niyo sa number 80, sir? Let's go back to number 80 po muna. Ano po yung process niyo?
Sir, pwede pong ganito na lang, sir.
Yes, yes.
Good evening po, everyone. Let A is equals to 1/2 x. So, sine A minus cosine A quantity squared. So, ano siya? Ang mangyari, sir, is sine squared A minus 2 sine A cosine A plus cosine squared A. We have identity na sine A squared plus cosine A squared is equals to 1.
Tama.
So matitira is 1 minus 2 sine A cosine
Cosine A.
Opo. Then yung identity na 2 sine A cosine A is equals to sine 2A. So ang mangyayari, sir, is 1 minus sine 2A. Balik ko na yung A is equals to 1/2 x. Yung 1/2 times 2, makakancel na lang. So matitira is 1 minus sine x.
Minus pala siya dapat, no? Sorry. It should be 1 minus sine x. Kasi minus pala ito. So ano po dapat yung ano? Yung tamang sagot is letter D.
Di po, sir.
Okay, so thank you for that po, no? So nakita po natin niya sa sign po. So thank you po for that. Kasi minus po dito, so dapat minus din po siya dito as well. So 1 minus sine x, letter D. So thank you po for that, no? Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. So paki-correct po ng ating number 80, it should be letter D. Salamat po, sir. 81. Okay, dito, sabi ko nga kanina, no? So for me, I'm more comfortable of expressing this in degrees rather than radians. So to convert pi over 12, multiply it by the conversion factor, 180 degrees over pi, which is 15 degrees. And cosine pi over 12 is just equal to cosine 15 degrees. 15, di ba yung 15 degrees, pwede siyang ma-express as a difference ng two special angles na 45 at saka 13. So 15 degrees could be expressed as 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. Tapos po, I hope you could still remember your cosine of your A minus B is equal to cos A cos B plus sine A sine B. Identity din po natin yan. With A equals 45 degrees and B equals 30 degrees, by substitution po, magiging ito po. Cosine of 45 degrees minus 30 degrees equals cosine 45 degrees cosine 30 degrees plus sine 45 degrees times sine 30 degrees. So cosine 45 po is square root of 2 over 2. Cosine 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2 po. Plus sine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Sine 30 po is 1/2. So please recall po, no, yung mga values na ito. And with that, the product of these two is square root of 6 over 4. The product of square root of 2 over 2 and 1/2 is square root of 2 over 4. And since they are similar fractions, we could actually combine them. So cosine 15 degrees po is square root of 6 plus square root of 2 all over 4, letter C. Or if you wish, you can use directly your calculator and it will give you the answer right away. Thank you. Number 82. Yes, tama po. I do agree with Sir Kim. If nahihirapan po kayo sa values, you could verify po with your calculator. Please take full advantage of your calculator po. 82. The following represents cosecant theta except which of A, B, C, or D is the answer here? What do you think po? Let's see, sabi D daw, sabi ni Sir Marvin. Sabi ni Ma'am Judy, ganun din daw, ni Sir PJ as well. Okay, actually, to solve for this, no, I hope you could still remember your magic hexagon or your tan, sin, cos hexagon. So to do that, tan, then consecutive, sin, cos, then opposite, ilagay nyo yung opposite niya, no, yung reciprocal niya. Yung reciprocal ng tangent ay cotangent, reciprocal ng sine ay cosecant, at saka yung reciprocal ng cosine ay secant po. Lagay po natin ng 1 sa gitna. There is a ruling, no? To make this simple for you, to determine any function po could be expressed as the ratio of two consecutive functions from that function. For example, cosecant is equal to secant divided by tangent. Pwede rin yung cosecant divided by cotangent. Pwede rin siyang cosecant is equal to cotangent over cosine. So letter A po is correct because cosecant is equal to cotangent divided by cosine. Another identity is any function as long as defined is equal to 1 divided by the opposite function. So you see, cosecant is equal to 1 divided by sine. So B po is correct. And another way po is, or another thing is, in this hexagon, any function is equal to the product of the two immediately adjacent functions. Like this one po. Yung sine ay equal sa product ng tangent at cosine. Yung cosecant is equal sa product ng secant at saka cotangent. And here, so cosecant theta is indeed equal to secant times cotangent. A, B, and C are correct. D is wrong. Tangent over secant is sine. Sine equals tangent over secant. So sine po ito. So D po yung iba sa lahat. Letter D. Okay. I hope nakuha po natin yung ating magic hexagon po. 83. The point 2/5 blank is on the unit circle. Is it 0.6, square root of 5 over 21, 1/2, or square root of 21/5? So for this one, kapag sinabi nating unit circle, no, it's a circle of radius 1 unit. And this 1 is in fact like it acts as the hypotenuse of your triangle. So if you square the x and again, you can form a right triangle. So if you square the x plus y squared, we will find the value of y pa po equals 1 squared. That becomes 4 over 25 plus y squared equals 1. Subtracting both sides by 4/25 gives us y squared equals 21 over 25. Extracting the square root of both sides to solve for y, we get y equals plus minus square root of 21 all over 5. So it could be square root of 21 over 5 or negative square root of 21 over 5. And we choose y equals square root of 21 over 5 since it's one of the choices. Letter D. So sige nga. Okay. So yeah, so I think tama po kayo, Sir Kim, Sir PJ, Ma'am Judy. Okay, thank you po. Umuulan ngayon, no? So I think yung siguro nahihirapang makapasok yung iba nating mga friends. 84. A subset of the sample space is called blank. Did you answer discrete variable, event, phenomenon, or continuous variable? Okay, so okay, B daw. Okay, if you answered B, let's see kung tama kayo. When we say discrete variable, it is a variable whose value is obtained by counting. No? So for example, the number of people, that is in fact discrete. You could, for example, you could assign by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's discrete. Kinakount. The correct answer here is in fact event. A phenomenon refers to an observable fact or event. Continuous variable is a variable whose value is obtained by measuring. For example, height. You measure your height by means of, say, a meter stick. Or weight. You measure it by means of, let's say, a weighing scale. And continuous variables could actually assume decimal values. Because anyway, when you measure something, there is a possibility that the measurement that you get is not necessarily a whole number po. So letter B for 84. Yan po. 85. A ball is drawn at random from a box containing 6 red balls, 4 white balls, and 5 blue balls. Find the probability that it is white. Should you go with 2/5, 4/15, 3/5, or 5/10? Okay, marami po sa atin yung sumagot ng letter B. Okay, ano pong gagawin natin? Would you mind to explain po? Sir PJ, how did you find B po? What should we do?
Ano po, sir? Good evening po pala.
Yes po.
Eh, bali, inad ko lang po yung 6, 4, and 5 for the denominator. And since ang hinahanap is the probability that it is white, which is white is equal to 4, so 4 over 15.
Tama. So there are 6 plus 4 plus 5 or 15 balls in all, no? Pero hinahanap natin yung probability of white. So therefore, there are 4 outcomes that are favorable for white all over the total, which is 15. So letter B, 4/15 po yung ating tamang sagot. So tama po, Sir Marvin. Favorable, number of favorable outcomes all over the total or possible number of outcomes. 86. If a die is rolled, what is the probability of getting a number divisible by 3? Let's see. Okay, letter A daw. 1/6 daw. Sabi ni ma'am. Ay sumagot din ng letter D. Okay, so hati tayo, no? Meron siyang A, meron siyang D. So saan nga ba yung tama? 1/6 nga ba? Or 1/3? D daw, okay. Remember, if you roll a die, the usual die that we have has numbers 1, 2, 3. Your sample space includes the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And among all of these 6 numbers, 3 and 6 are divisible by 6. So, by 3 rather. So divisible by 3 are 3 and 6. So that's 2 out of 6 outcomes. Hence, the probability that the number that comes out is divisible by 3 is 2/6 or 1/3. Okay. So be careful po tayo ha. Siguro yung kinonsider po ninyo baka 3 lang. Dapat 3 and 6 po. Because they are both divisible by 3. So D po. Okay. Thank you po. Okay. Sige, saglit lang po ah. Saglit lang po. Okay. 87. For mutually exclusive events, A and B, what do you call the formula probability of A union B is equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B? Is it the addition rule, the general rule, the subtraction rule, or the multiplication rule? Okay, marami po sa atin ang sumagot ng A. And if you answered A, that is actually correct. It's what we call the addition rule po. Yung general rule naman po is used if there is an intersection or a common, let's say common, at least one common element between the two sets A and B. So the general rule is probability of A union B equals the sum of the probabilities of A and the probability of B, and you subtract it with the probability of their intersection. Yung C at D po are not correct answers. Letter A po, yung ating tamang sagot. So careful po tayo. Okay. So it's addition rule. Ito po yung general rule. Usually used kapag meron pong intersection. Kasi kung mutually exclusive naman po sila, no, or wala silang common elements, A intersection B, the probability of their intersection is 0. Kaya magiging ito na lang po yung kanyang sagot. Okay, thank you po. 88. Okay, so take a look at this matrix here. It's understood, no, that there are 136 males said yes, 104 males said no, and there are a total of 240 males. 224 females said yes, 36 females said no, and the total number of females is 260. There are 360 who said yes in all, 140 who said no in all, and there are a total of 500 respondents all in all. Find the probability that the respondent chosen at random is a male. 12 over 25, 6 over 25, 13 over 25, or 18 over 25. Okay. Bakit po A? Bakit A dapat? Ano po yung ginawa ninyo para mag-A po siya? Okay, let's see the chat. According kay Sir Kim, it's 240 over 500. And that is something I agree upon. If you would take a look at the matrix, kasi lalaki lang naman yung males na naman yung concerns. So 136 yes and 104 no are your male respondents who answered these. So there are 240 out of the 500. That's why the probability that you chose a male here is 240 over 500, which when simplified becomes 12 over 25. So indeed, letter A. I think they're divisible by 50 nga ba? I'm not sure. Please check, no? I think it's at 50, I mean. 20. The GCF, I believe, is 20. Okay. How about this? How many 5-letter strings are there in the arrangements of the word mango if it should start with a consonant? Is it 5, 24, 48, or 72? What do you think po? Okay. Letter B daw, sabi ni Sir PJ, hindi yata siya sure, may question mark. D naman, yung sagot ng iba. Hula naman daw, sabi ni Sir. Okay. Let's see kung mahuhulaan kaya niya. No? Or nahulaan kaya ng iba. Or tama kaya ng iba. D nga ba or D? D ang hula niya. Okay. Meron ding sumagot ng C. Okay. A lang ata ang hindi sinagot. Now, so when we say 5-letter strings, no, so we are going to rearrange the letters of the word mango. And without, of course, we will just utilize 1M, 1A, 1N, 1G, 1O, and we will not introduce other letters. So, di ba yung kapag sinabi nating consonants, ilan ba yung consonants dito? Ano ba yung consonants dito? Okay, meron po tayong tatlong consonants sa word na mango. Yung M, N, at saka G. Yung A at saka O ay tinatawag po nating vowels. So with that po, by the fundamental counting principle, using the letters of the word mango, there are 3 ways for you to begin your word. It could begin with either M, N, or G. That's why tatlo po yung dito. Tapos, let's say may ginamit ka pong isang letter. Let's say yung ginamit pong letter dito ay letter M. So, meron ka pang A, N, G, O. So that's why you have 3 choices for the first, 4 choices for the second. If you utilize any of those for the second, you have 3 choices for the third slot. If you use one of those, you will have 2 options for the second slot, and lastly, 1 option for the fifth slot. Hence, by the fundamental counting principle, we have to multiply 3, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and indeed, you will get 72. Letter D po, yung ating tamang sagot. Galing manghula ah. Sana all po. Okay. I hope na nakuha po natin. And let's proceed to the final item po. So congratulations po. Sana all na lang talaga nakakahula, no? 90. 3 fair coins are tossed at once. What is the probability that there are exactly 2 heads? Is it A, 0.250, B, 0.375, C, 0.6, or D, 0.725? Okay. 3/8 daw. Okay. Sabi ni Ma'am Pato, ni Ma'am Judy, ni Sir Kim, ni Sir PJ, ni Oweng's iPhone, ni Sir Marvin. Actually, 8 is manageable lang naman, no? I mean, if you toss 3 pair coins, ilang outcomes pa lahat? If you toss 3 coins, there will be 2 times 2 times 2. Bakit 2 times 2 times 2? Sa first coin, pwede siyang head or tail. Sa second coin, head or tail din. Sa third coin, head or tail din. For each of the coins, there are 2 possible outcomes. And by the fundamental counting principle, you have to multiply them. That's why 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. So there are 8 possible outcomes, and these are all the 8. Nilista ko na. Kasi 8, I believe, is manageable lang naman eh. So we have HHH, HHT, HTH, THH, TTH, THT, HTT, and TTT. Ito po yung lahat ng 8 possible outcomes po. So, 3 po. Okay, 3 lang po. So careful po. And you could see, no, na meron tayong 3 options na may dalawang H. Yung HHT, HTH, at saka THH. So with that po, there are 3 out of 8 possible outcomes or ways for, 3 out of 8, 3 are favorable rather, out of 8. So the probability is 3/8, or in decimal, 3 divided by 8, that's 0.375. If you answered B, be happy. You got it right po. Okay. So careful po. Huh? So careful po. Okay. Do we have questions or clarifications po? Okay, let's see. None. Okay. Paki-check po ninyo, count po ninyo yung score ninyo. I hope kung okay lang po sa inyo or kung gusto niyo po, pwede pong i-PM niyo po sa akin ang score ninyo, or pwede rin i-comment niyo dito, or message niyo directly sa akin, pwede rin. Okay. Ilan po yung score ninyo? Tingnan po natin. Paki-comment po ng score ninyo. Pwedeng everyone, send to everyone, or pwede din pong sa akin yung i-send. Wala pong problema yun. Okay, 18 out of 30. We have 29. Okay. So far, so good. One mistake. 21 over 30, 17 as well. Okay. Okay, so far, no, if you get at least 15 for us, it's okay po. So I hope, don't worry po ma'am, no? Kung hindi man po tayo nakaabot, at least po, no, it's a learning experience for us naman po. So okay lang po ma'am. Okay, we have 25 over 30, 19 over 30. So far, so good. Don't worry po, no? Hindi pa po uli ang lahat. Okay, 15. It's because this is a review, no? And hoping we will be able to help you really prepare. We have 16 as well. Okay, so far so good. Thank you po for commenting. And with that ends our session for tonight. Thank you very much. And okay, may nag-direct question po sa akin. Allowed na po bang gumamit ng class quiz calculator? Okay. I'll stop the recording lang po ha.